Sandra received a letter in the mail on a Thursday afternoon. It was from her employer, a large regional hospital system she had worked for as a registered nurse for 26 years. The letter had a friendly heading. It used words like modernization and enhancement and future-focused retirement solutions. What it was actually saying, buried in the third paragraph behind the corporate language, was this: the pension she had been promised, the defined benefit plan that she had been counting on, the monthly income guarantee that had been the bedrock of her retirement plan for 26 years. It was being frozen, effective in 90 days. Her pension benefit would stop accruing. All future contributions would go into a 401k with market risk she would now carry entirely on her own. Sandra called HR the next morning, and the woman on the phone was apologetic and kind. She said in the sentence that I have now heard more times than I can count, "I know this is hard, but the company has worked hard to make sure this transition is as smooth as possible for our employees." Sandra hung up and cried at her kitchen table, not because she didn't understand what had happened, because she understood it perfectly. I want to be very specific about what a pension freeze actually does to a pre-retiree, because the corporate language is carefully designed to obscure it. A traditional pension, a defined benefit plan, pays you a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life based on your years of service and salary history. It is the most powerful retirement income tool ever invented for the working American. It doesn't care what the stock market does. It doesn't care what interest rates do. It doesn't care how long you live. It pays every month until you die. A 401k does none of those things. A 401k is an account you own, subject to market risk, withdrawal risk, longevity risk, and the very real possibility that you outlive it. When a company freezes a pension and replaces it with a 401k, they are not enhancing your retirement. They are transferring the risk of your retirement from their balance sheet to yours. They get certainty, you get exposure. They call it an enhancement. I call it what it is: a transfer of your retirement security to the corporate profit column. Sandra's story is not an isolated case. According to Willis Towers Watson, the percentage of Fortune 500 companies offering traditional defined benefit pensions to new employees fell from 59% in 1998 to just 14% by 2023. 14%. In one generation, the retirement security that the American corporate employer once provided as a standard part of employment has been systematically dismantled. And it wasn't dismantled through layoffs or press releases. It was dismantled through letters with friendly headings, through words like modernization and enhancement and future focus, through the careful, deliberate language of institutions that understood exactly what they were doing and chose words designed to make sure you didn't fully understand it until it was already done. That is not an accident. That is their strategy. Here's the truth that I think every pre-retiree in America needs to hear plainly. The American corporate employer has spent the last 30 years systematically offloading the cost and risk of retirement from their books onto yours. And they did it gradually enough, one pension freeze, one benefit reduction, one modernization letter at a time, that most people didn't realize how profound the shift was until they were 5 years from retirement and looking at an account balance instead of a guaranteed income. The risk used to be theirs. Now it's yours. And here's the thing that makes me genuinely angry on behalf of people like Sandra. They didn't ask for the risk transfer. They didn't negotiate it. They didn't agree to it. It was decided in a boardroom, dressed up in friendly language, and mailed to their house on a Thursday afternoon. This is the enemy I'm talking about. Not any individual company, not any individual HR person or department. The systemic, institutional transfer of retirement risk from the people who can afford to carry it, large corporations, to the people who can least afford to, individual workers within a decade of retirement. Here's what my team does for people who come to us after receiving a letter like Sandra's. First, we get angry on their behalf, and then we get to work. We look at what the frozen pension is actually worth, because many people dramatically undervalue what they've already accrued, and there are strategic decisions about whether to take a lump sum or a reduced annuity that can make a significant difference. We look at what the new 401k structure actually provides and how to maximize it in the years remaining before retirement. And then we do the most important thing. We build the layer of the retirement plan that the company just took away, using tools and strategies that belong entirely to the client, not to their employer. Guaranteed income sources that don't depend on a corporate boardroom's quarterly earnings pressure. An income floor that pays every month for life, regardless of what the company decides to modernize next. Sandra came to us 8 months after that letter arrived. She's now 2 years from a retirement that is stronger than the one she thought she had before the letter came. Because we replaced what the company took with something the company can never touch. If you've received a letter like Sandra's, or if you're worried one might be coming, I want you to know something. What the company took from you can be rebuilt, not through them, not through a plan that belongs to them, but through a plan that belongs entirely to you. This is the work that my team does every day. I'm Robert Beck. The link is below. Let's rebuild what they took and build it stronger than it was before. Subscribe, because the language in corporate letters is designed to confuse you, and this channel is designed to do the opposite.